Oh my God, it's dumping. It has broken the 11,100 level. Oh my God. We're going to be talking about that and about the government's taking over mining pools maybe, and yield farming. What's going on with that, right? Why is that collapsing, and is that causing the collapse of the price of Bitcoin right now? Also, before we get into that, we have Inti. Inti has a few words to say before we can move on to our TA. Inti?
Yes. As always, people, it's worth to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not financial advice. Please do your own research before putting any of your hard-earned money on the market.
Let's move over to Bitcoin TA. Oh, wow. We are breaking down below 11,000 right now. Things are a complete disaster. This thing's going to fly. This thing's going to move very fast and move down very fast and very hard now as we have broken this $11,100 resistance level. You could say it's game over.
Game over.
Until probably about 10,500. It's breaking through our current trend line, and it is like non-stop. As we do the show, Bitcoin is breaking down. We've got a lot more to go. Looking at the Three Musketeers on the 5-minute, we are pushing further down. We actually went all the way to 10,006 here on the perpetual swaps. Huge. Let's see what's going on with the actual spot market. Oh man, red candles. I'm looking underneath my desk for the red candle. Wow, Jesus, it went all the way through my desk here. Damn. I'm looking at the 5-second candlesticks. Wow, no, that's useless. All right, let's just switch over to the 5-minute, and yeah, we are dumping hard. And how far can Bitcoin go before we see the stop? I think this is it for now. If we roll back, let's just see if we roll back to the 11,100 level, we might have a chance of turning this thing around really quick. If we do this really quickly, meaning within the next hour. But if not, we might see the $9,600 level sometime this week. Ugh. Sorry, folks. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Hopefully everybody else had their stops set. Unfortunately, that's it gives and it sometimes takes away. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum looks like it's holding the $400 level. It's like serious. Let's take a look. If we do some fibs on Ethereum, we can see that the 78.6 level is the next level where it might hold. If we happen to hold that level, that would bode well for Ethereum. Looking at the daily, let's go to daily time frame. Oof, looks pretty ugly. We're still in a bullish stance here with Ethereum. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with this particular dump. Holds the 78.6 level here. After it took off from the bottom here, that will be a positive action. If not, we could see the $371 level being broken in the next little while. Unfortunately, pretty sad. A bear day, and looking at the weekly chart actually of Bitcoin, it looks like 10,400 might be a test area for us to bounce off of, but honestly, I think we're going to probably close, if we head over to the CME gap, we're probably going to close the CME gap of 9,600 in the next little while. Alrighty, folks, let's talk about what's going on with governments might be interested in controlling the mining pools, right? Who supervises the Bitcoin mining pools? And MIT has a proposal that governments take over managing the mining pools just for your safety. You know, the government has to try because they are going to lose a big part of their control over the population, which is the ability to create money so that they can, pay people off, pay off their voters, and say, hey, I'm going to promise you a check, $1,200 check. And the only way they can pay for that $1,200 check is if they print the money and give it to you. So vote for me. So obviously they don't want to lose control of that power. They and of course, the United States government, the biggest military in the world, of course, that military doesn't want to lose that power as well. So, they're looking for different ways for them to control Bitcoin, because I think they're starting to see the writing on the wall. They're starting to clue in here, right? And one of the things, right, they're talking about is these mining pool nodes, right? When they have so much power because a miner, right? And let me just talk about, before I go on to explaining what this article is about, right? A link in the description below. What does a mining pool do, right? A mining pool, right? Anybody can mine Bitcoin. For example, your computer right now can mine Bitcoins, right? You could start mining, but unfortunately, it'll take you hundreds and hundreds of years in order to find one block. And because that it'll take 100 years, you don't want to wait that long to get paid. So what can you do, right? Let's just say you have like a really high equipment, and it's going to take months to get paid on that equipment. So what you can do is you can join a pool of people mining, and they will pay you a portion of whatever you provide in computing power. So you could join that mining pool, and your small portion will be paid out to you right away. And the mining pool actually gets the block and then shares that block out to everybody. Naturally, I used to run a mining pool, and what you have to do is obviously have a lot of Bitcoins first before you actually can run the pool, because I would use my own Bitcoins to pay out everybody the small portion, right? Whilst I waited for the blocks to come in, right? And so that's how that works. Those mining pools get to decide. The problem is what the government's saying is those mining pools get to decide what direction Bitcoin can go in, whether or not whose transaction gets involved into a block, and whose doesn't. Also, they decide on consensus rules. The consensus rules are, for example, what encryption goes into your transaction, what information goes into a block. Whether, like, for example, if somebody writes something specifically on the transaction and they don't like that, they can actually block that going into a block. And so this is a perfect attack vector for governments. But what governments don't realize is that for the longest while now, decentralized pools do exist, right? They're just not very popular. And also the mining pools have already seen the writing on the wall. And so what they're doing is planning on coming up with a new method of allowing individual miners to decide exactly what they want, what rules they agree on when they mine their blocks. So for example, they could decide which transactions go into a block. They could decide which encryption protocols to use. They could decide what size of block it is. Everything. And so, yeah, I prefer the government to continue trying us on, honestly. Remember, I always said this. The worst thing the government can do, right, is to support Bitcoin. That's the absolute worst thing. Because the reason why is because Bitcoin becomes supported by governments. There's no need to make changes in the protocol to protect against government at all. Right? So that's why. All right. So with that said, let's move on to our other topic, which is what happened with Hot Dog. Right. I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't know if you've been living under a rock somewhere. You probably don't know about yield farming, right? And what yield farming is basically there's these people who create some sort of food meme coin, right? There's sushi, kimchi, pasta, all kinds of coins that gets created out of nothing and pays you for locking up some other coin into this yield farm. So you lock up your, I don't know, your ether, you lock up your sushi, you lock up your whatever coin that's out there, and then you receive your pasta coin, your hot dog coin, your whatever, and that supposedly is your yield. And that's why you see these huge yields promises. Like, for example, kimchi is promising 200,000%. 200,000%. Do you think that's sustainable, people? Do you think that's sustainable? 200,000%? Yeah, it's not. So, I'm shocked that this didn't happen before. So this person, what happened here with hot dog? You saw in a day, it goes up $4,000 per hot dog, and then I don't know, hours later, we went straight down to $1. Obviously, the person who cloned it, this was a clone of sushi, and obviously that person decided to build create a bunch of hot dogs so that everybody would get into this and then dump it on the market. I mean, you knew that was coming, right? And so, it's going to end. I think maybe this is the beginning of the end of the yield farming, right? Because it's a waste of time. It's a zero-sum game, meaning that this is just taking money from people who've already made money on cryptocurrencies. And the sad thing is, right, some people want to stop this, but the best way to stop this, right, is with the higher and higher gas fees. As the gas fees gets higher, right, people are not going to be able to transact in these stupid yield farms. And once they can't transaction and they try to withdraw their money, this is going to collapse all of the yield farms completely. And only the solid projects will be left behind. And unfortunately, there are people who want to fix this, who want to fix the fact that somebody, part of the key issues with, key thing about Ethereum is that you could actually buy gas, because developers found out that you can actually buy gas ahead of time when it was cheap, and then then release it when prices are higher, through a small, what they consider a bug, but I don't think so. I think it's very important, because what's happening now is those people are driving up the gas prices, and so this will end by driving up the gas prices. It ends all this nonsense a lot faster than it would have if we didn't have a method of buying up the gas at a cheaper price to then release it later on real projects. So now both Vitalik and a few other people are proposing that they get rid of the feature, which I think is a feature, right, of buying up real estate on the Ethereum network through buying up smart contracts and then destroying those contracts to release the gas in order for you to have cheaper transactions. And they're basically acting like government officials, right? They never look at what the consequences of their actions. And I pointed this out in my tweet saying, hey, listen, you know what? If people can buy the gas cheaper and then later use it in order to spend it on a future date, this means that all these there's always going to be a new kind of like crazy scam that gets invented on Ethereum, always, for the rest of time. And if you take away a feature that allows you to bet against that, right, it will take longer for that scam to end. And so by allowing people to bet against these scams, it will end the scam a lot faster. And so I hope these guys, they listen to my tweet and they do not remove that critical feature, I think, now of creating a contract and destroying it to release gas and get gas prices cheaper. Alrighty. So with that said, let's move on to my next topic, which is I have here a special guest. His name is Christian Featherman, and I'm just gonna bring him up here. Right? Say hi to everybody, Christian.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good morning.
Yeah. So you have this channel called Gringo On Mode, right?
Gringo mode on. Yeah.
Gringo Mode On, yes, and it's an excellent channel. I love it. I've been watching it. It's a local channel for Chileans, right?
Yeah.
And you have like lots of jokes and stuff like that, and you've done a lot of great editing and so forth on that channel. And
Thank you.
and you're going to be coming on, right? Joining us to help us with all of our problems that we have. Because you're pretty good at this, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, editing's something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And so I got an invitation from Davinci to help out with future live shows as well as potentially some other separate videos.
We'll be able to resolve some of these issues, right? I'm looking forward to working with you, Chris, and same with Inti, right? We're all excited here, and this is what some of the money that we've collected from the Davinci J15 token. It's going into paying for all of this, paying for a new studio, paying for people to help us edit, and we're also looking for people to help us with the show. So if you're really interested in doing research, you're like crazy. You're a crazy person. Like, hey, you know what? I really like reading about all kinds of cool things that are going on, and I want somebody to do a YouTube show on that. If you're one of those people, please email us at info@davincicodes.net. The link is in the description for that email, and and maybe you can have a job here helping us find different articles to talk about and doing the show. Inti, what do you got for me?
Awesome. We should honor some super chats that were remaining from yesterday.
Yes.
So, the first one is going to be from Diego Arce, and he asks if there's anything interesting on Grin.
Grin, yes. Let's bring that chart up, because you know what? I think I have some of the Grin, and it should be fully cooked and ready for us to buy, maybe. So let's bring a chart up of Grin. Because, Grin, when it first came out, I was thinking, yes, so there you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Love that chart. The little old lady loves that chart. I don't like the volume, the way the volume is, but let's take a look at it at other exchanges. Yeah, it's completely hated, right? Absolute destruction, hatred, and I think it's time to start nibbling here. I think it's time to start buying a little bit more Grin, because nobody likes this. Everyone's hating it, and the 200-day moving average is slowly coming closer and closer to the actual price. We can also see that the ski slope downward movement here that has stopped completely. So let's just take a look at here. Let's go and do a trend right here. You can see we've broken the ski slope down and we're going across. So that's a good sign. That's an excellent sign that this thing is probably not going to, I won't say it's going to pop tomorrow, but sometime in the future, this thing is going to do something spectacular. But keep in mind, it can dump down further. But if you do the little old lady strategy, you'll be fine. You'll do well. So that means you just you nibble a little bit here, and if it falls a little bit further, you have some dry powder to pick some more up and average down, and then sell half on a double. That's it. And I think we're near the bottom and not near tops, of course, because you can see from a longer term chart, this is nowhere near the top, right? And that's perfect place to be buying, nowhere near the top. All right. With that said, thank you all for watching. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier. all the information in the description below will be added shortly, and we'll have timestamps. Inti is going to be working on the timestamps, right, Inti?
Of course,
and,
as always.
And yeah, we will definitely have all these problems fixed as soon as we can possibly do so. But right now, you're just gonna have to bear with us. All right, thanks for watching, and cheers, people.
Bye.